let's go ahead and do a roll call. First area, vacant. Second call area, not here. Third call area.
And KE3HOS here.
Fourth call area.
Whiskey Fox 4 Hotel. Here.
Fifth call area.
WA6LBU here.
Sixth call area. Seventh call area.
Seventh area present.
Eighth call area.
AGAWL is here.
Ninth call area.
W9ROG.
10th call area.
AA0HF present.
DX.
B3CMB, we're here.
Vice President.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, okay. Not used to that.
Whoa,
President
horsey.
is what's added here. Okay, the first order of business is to approve both the general election and the special election. The net change was that we voted in a new vice president. Do I have a motion to approve?
What was this?
Approved, W86W.
Okay, any comments before we do a roll call to approve it?
What was the special election?
First call area. We elected a first call area director and he resigned before he took office.
Okay. Yeah, that's a special election. Okay.
Okay,
It concluded like last week. So
Yeah.
anyway, roll call to approve, starting with the third call area.
HAY approved.
Fourth call area.
WF4H approved.
Fifth call area.
WA6LBU approved.
Sixth call area. Not here. Seventh call area.
Seventh area approves.
Eighth call area.
Approved. KGAWL for the 8th.
Ninth call area.
W9ROG approves.
10th.
AA0HF approves.
DX.
B3CMB approves.
President approves. I'd like to welcome Kurt Frazier as our new vice president. You are free to vote.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm humble.
Welcome
Right.
aboard, Kirk.
I apologize. I've only done this a couple times before. We have a quorum to conduct a board meeting, so we're in good shape. So, okay, hold on a second. A couple more people.
Who's
Okay,
that?
yes.
I'm sorry, I was just wondering who the acting secretary was.
The acting secretary is me.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm taking notes here. We've got the video. We will make it happen. So, okay. The second item I have on the list is the election of a chairman of the board for the board of directors. This is an activity that is generally done by the directors, by the 11 directors. But I will kind of be a referee in the process. And are there any nominations for the chairman of the board?
Fourth area, WF4H would like to nominate Whiskey Alpha 6 Lima Bravo uniform for chairman of the board.
I'll second that.
Motions are still open. Okay, we will close the nominations. Any discussions? Okay, and again, the roll call vote will be from the attending directors. So third call area.
Mike works.
I come again, doubling. Go ahead, Keon.
Third area approves. KE3HAY.
Fourth call area.
Fourth carry,
That's
WF4H approves.
Fifth call area.
Fifth area abstains.
Seventh call area.
Seventh area approves.
9639.
Eighth call area.
Approve KGAWL.
Ninth call area.
Ninth call area approves, W9ROG.
10th,
10th approves, AA0HF.
DX.
DX approves, V3CMB.
Vice President
Approved.
and President approves. Well, welcome, Clay. You're our new chairman of the board. Would you like to take over from here, or would you like me to wrap up this meeting and then turn it over to you?
Go ahead and wrap up the meeting, considering I'm sitting in a hotel room.
We'll ask for an explanation of that later.
I'd like to comment that I'm impressed with this board that they didn't nominate somebody that wasn't attending.
We
Well, that
wanted
would
you to
have
have,
made it more excitement.
we wanted you to have the same experience as some of us else have had, presidents and other chairmen of the board.
That's right. Enjoy.
Anyway, so the vote was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 approved, 1 abstained. The motion carries, and like I said, we officially have a new chairman of the board, and he'll be definitely in the saddle for the April board, or I'm sorry, for next week's board meeting. We've got a board meeting next Saturday, so he will be in charge of that one. Okay, secretary, nominations are now open for the new secretary.
Fifth area would like to nominate Katie, K4TER.
All righty, and so I have a question for the board. Do I have the privilege of being able to nominate somebody as well? Or is this strictly?
Certainly.
Okay, then I will go ahead and let me write nominate Rusty for secretary as well. Any more nominations before we close nominations?
Who did you nominate?
I had nominated Rusty.
Okay.
So I'll close the nominations. Are there any discussions before we vote? So since we have 2 people on the ballot, I'll call roll call, and you'll either nominate Katie or Rusty. So third call area.
Rusty, KE3HAY.
Fourth call area.
Katie, Whiskey Fox 4 Hotel.
Fifth call area.
Katie, WA6LBU.
Seventh call area.
Rusty, WB7ASC.
Eighth call area.
Rusty, KGAWL.
Ninth call area. One more time. Ninth call
E.
area. Who?
K4TER.
10th call area.
AA0HF.
DX.
DX, Rusty, V3CMB.
Vice President.
K4TER.
And I will also vote for K4TER. So the vote count is 6-4, 6 voting for Katie, 4 voting for Rusty. And with that, I would like to welcome that Katie will be our new secretary for the next year. And I think she's here.
I am here.
We got her roped, I guess. Okay. Last one is for treasurer. Nominations are now open. Any nominations from the floor?
I nominate.
K9,
Go ahead, Ralph. Go ahead, Ralph.
K9 GWS.
Second, WA6LBU.
Okay, anybody else want to be nominated or nominate or volunteer? Okay, roll call vote, just like we did before. Treasurer, third call area,
HAY approves.
fourth,
WF4H approves.
fifth,
Approved, WA6LBU.
seventh,
Seventh approves.
eighth,
Approved, KGAWL.
ninth,
W9ROG approves.
10th,
AA0HF approves.
DX,
EXV3CMB approves.
Vice President,
Approves.
and I approve as well. I would also like to ask each of the board members tonight after the board meeting to send Gary an email. His wife is in the hospital with unknown conditions, and just to wish him well. I talked to him a few hours ago, and he's not himself. So after the board meeting, you just send him an email. He'll probably catch up with it later on tonight, but it's just they don't know what's wrong with her. So anyway, okay.
What's her
What's
first
that?
name? Sorry,
I'm
what's
sorry.
her
Lori.
Lori. I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Lori. Thank you very much. Okay, next item agenda is item 6, approval of the minutes from the February 11th board meeting. Do I have a second? Or
Second,
a
HAY.
motion to approve? I'm sorry, motion to approve.
Motion.
Are there any comments or any comments about the February financials? Oh, you guys are easy. Okay, roll call vote to approve the minutes. Let's go backwards for a change. President approves. Vice President
I'll abstain.
abstain. Got it. Okay. DX,
EX area approves V3CMB.
10th,
10th approves. AA0HF.
9th,
W9ROG approves.
8th,
Approved, KGAWL.
7th,
Seventh area approves.
5th,
5th approves, WA6LBU.
4th,
Fourth approves. Whiskey Fox 4 Hotel.
and 3rd.
Last but not least, KE3AHAY approves.
Okay, by vote of 9-1, that carries. Okay, how about a motion to approve the financial statements?
V3CMB.
Move to WA6LBU.
Any comments about the financial statements? I have one. The audit committee has been appointed or reappointed again to basically audit our records, and that is going to be again Craig VE3CMB and Johnny. Right. It's called
AI4 WCQ.
WCQ. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway, and that's due in May. So again, we'll be on top of that. So, okay. Roll call vote to approve the finance third call area.
KE3AHAY approved.
4th,
Whiskey Fox 4 Hotel approves.
5th,
LBU approves.
7th,
Turn Ron.
over Ron.
Huh?
Ron, do you approve or disapprove?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I'll approve.
Your hat's a little cocked. You need to change your attitude to reflect that sound.
No, his glass is empty. His glass is empty. 8th call area.
Approved, KGAWL.
9th,
W9ROG approves.
10th,
AA0HF approves.
DX,
V3CMB approves.
Vice President?
Yeah, I'll abstain on that one.
Okay, and I'll approve as well. Again, by 9-1, it carries. Okay, also included with this month's agenda were committee reports from the awards committee, member communication services team from Gary, IT task force from Matt, and an update on the DX Bureau. Any comments about the committee reports?
I've just got a general comment. V3CMB, these guys are doing fantastic. I shouldn't say guys, I suppose. These folks are doing great work. And, you know, a lot of times we don't interactively have a discussion, but it's, I read it. It's fantastic what they're putting out. And I just, maybe somewhere in the minutes here, we can commend them for their support to the club.
They will be rewarded appropriately because they're really, the backbone of doing a lot of things for the club. So the work they're doing is really appreciated. So
yeah.
And Craig, while we're at it, I just want to call out Dave and Debbie. And if you want to turn your video on, you can. They started out with the DX Bureau with nothing, and they still kind of have nothing, but they're making really, really good progress. And in the last couple of months, they've made tremendous headways. Still kind of slow, and we're still working out the kinks, but they've gotten a lot of support from the board. They've got a lot of support from the members. I will say this, is that last week I got an email from Rick's son, and he said, I need to turn the server back on because I need to get some stuff for you and whatever it is. And in that few hours that the server was back up again, one of our members discovered it and posted on Facebook. Oh, Rick's site's back up again, but it's outdated. So anyway, okay. On to old business. And this is kind of awkward, but do I have a motion to bring off the table the motion for updating section or Article 11 of the bylaws as related to the election process? And this motion was originally made by November 2 X-ray Tango Tango.
Motion to bring off the table V3CMB.
Second, HAY.
There has been a little bit of discussion, but I will open up the meeting to further discussion.
Shouldn't there be a vote on bringing it off the table first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to vote to bring it off the table. Third call area.
HAY approves.
Fourth.
WF4H approves.
Fifth.
Approved, LBU.
Seventh.
Seventh approves.
Eighth.
Approved, KGAWL.
Ninth.
WIRG approves.
10th.
EA0HF approves.
DX.
V3CMB approves.
Vice President.
Approves.
And President approves. Okay. Thank you, Ralph. Any discussion before I open my mouth?
Is it still an ongoing to be able to add to that going forward, or is it just a one-time do this and done for a year?
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and tell you what my desire is. My desire is that we retable this motion and send it off to the committee that's working on the bylaws and let them basically clean it up and bring it back to the board with a lot of the comments that have been made in the last week, requiring changes, because there are some conflicting things in it, and there's some clarification stuff that needs to be done in it as well. That would be my position, but unfortunately we don't have Peter here, And I'm not sure if we need Peter here to move this thing along, or if our only choice is to vote on it. I'm at a loss of what to do. I'm sorry.
I've read the motion several times, and I find it confusing to say the least. It seems like they tried to cover absolutely every instance that might come up during an election, and it comes out reading like you'd have to be a lawyer to read it. It's not. I mean, it's clear to me because I've been through it, but for somebody to read it, it's very, very confusing and very complex. I think we could approach it by developing an election procedure outside of the bylaws that can be modified as needed without having to update the bylaws every time we do it. Just my opinion.
HAY.
Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, Dean, I get what Dwight's saying. And I also get with what you're saying. And I feel the same way that you do. I think that this needs to be tabled again and allow the bylaw committee to do what you've tasked them to do. And once they come out with some information that is solid, that kind of satisfies what Dwight is saying, a procedure outside of the bylaws so that we don't keep having to go through this motion. I think that is the best thing. I don't believe that Peter needs to be here necessarily to do that. So we have a quorum. I think we should, but I think you're on the right track. Let's table this and come back once the bylaw committee comes with something.
WF4H.
Keon, hold that thought. You're on the floor. Go ahead, Dwight.
Yeah, I just want to comment that if we table it today we need to put a parameter on it for when it's going to come off the table, or we're going to look at it every month.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so Keon, I'm going to let you go ahead and make that motion since you were articulate in it, and put the criteria on it, and we can talk about that. But is that okay with you?
Yeah, while we're still in discussion, I want to go back to Dwight for a second. So I agree with you. We need to put a time frame on it so we're not looking at this prematurely. In your honest, humble opinion, what do you think is a good time?
Well, I'm not going to speak for, I'm not going to overspeak for the chairman of, or the chairperson of the bylaw committee, but I surely think that if we bring it to their attention, that they will move it up on the priority list, okay? I would say that probably, well, Eric, why don't you go ahead and step in anytime since you're the chairperson.
Thanks, Dean. The bylaw committee had its first meeting last week, and we were starting with simple things, but if the board would like us to start with this, and it makes sense so we can be ready for the next set of elections. So if you'd like us to take it on and put it at the top of the list, we can certainly do so, Keon.
Okay, so, and I was kind of sort of going back to Dwight. I'm sorry, Dean. Dwight, I'm thinking July or August. Would that be sufficient?
I'm thinking we could probably come up, because we have to get this to the board with enough time for them to peruse it. I'm thinking that it's March now. I'm thinking May or June, to tell you the truth.
All right.
So hold on. Let me just make one other comment. Is that with this particular item on the agenda, there is also an election handbook that will need to be updated as well. So this adds a little bit of complexity because that secondary document that was brought up needs to be updated as well. And among other things, that's got all the information about notification to the reflectors, the announcements, the timeline, all the little minutia that goes along with once you find somebody, your election monitor, you can say, this is a starting point. So, So,
So, let's be on
why
the
don't we
same-
just do why don't we do 4 months? Is 4 months okay? Eric? So that would be April, May, June, July. So it would be to the August board meeting.
I,
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Dwight.
I have a concern about having to update the documents before it's actually in the bylaws. You go through and you tweak the documents and get them all squared away, and then we bring it to the bylaws, and then the board says, no, we want to change this. So my assumption is that we would have it in the bylaws, point at the election, because we're not going to need it for a few months, and update those documents at that point. Just my thought.
I have no problem with that. So I'll
And
Okay.
I was going to make a little comment earlier. Same sort of thing. I mean, if we approve it tonight, it's still going to go up for a review through the bylaw review. So,
yes.
you know, it will get amended or updated or as required at that point. So, you know, I'm okay either way, guys, but
So my assumption is that if you approve it tonight, it's going to have to be cut into the bylaws before next month.
So
Yep.
what I'm going to paraphrase what I think Keon's alluding to, and I'm going to add to it, is that we're going to table this motion and we're going to put it out to bring it off the table in the August board meeting. So, and that would be section or article 11 of the bylaws.
Or
Is that what we're-
sooner.
or sooner, right. Yes, Keon?
No later than August.
Right, no later than the August board meeting. Exactly.
Okay, I got
That
that.
works. Yeah.
okay, I'm getting a little confused now, though. So if we're tabling it, we're not going to vote on it. So, the motion or the intent of the motion will be looked at through the bylaw review.
So what we're going to do, so what we're going to do is we're going to table the motion. We're going to vote to table the motion until the August board meeting. Okay?
No later than.
Or no, I'm sorry, no later than the August meeting or sooner, okay?
Right.
But it's going to immediately go to the bylaw committee so that they can readjust their schedule so they can make it happen.
Okay.
And then
So,
okay, go ahead.
so they're going to look at the current bylaws with respect to the election,
Yes,
as well as this potential, or not potential, but as well as this motion that we're tabling.
Correct.
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we approve it tonight, we can't change it for a year.
If we disapprove it tonight, we can't touch it for a year.
If we did, even if you approved it and they put it in and we wanted to change something, you couldn't touch it for a year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So
Is,
there is one more.
is this-
Go ahead, Kurt.
Is this a good time to make a suggestion, or is that better in an email to Eric?
What's your suggestion?
If
On content or sorry, on
No.
the content.
on content,
Yeah.
yeah,
An email.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was going to say an email
Okay.
if it's on content.
okay.
Okay, so motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second.
LBU.
Okay, I think this is a good solution, and I think it's going to work out well. Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote. And the roll call vote, let me just rephrase it. Motion to table that this motion be brought to the August or earlier board meeting.
Mhm.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So roll call vote. Third caller,
HAY approves.
fourth,
WF4H approves.
fifth,
WA6LB approves.
seventh.
Seventh area approves.
He's awake. Eighth,
Approved. KG8WL.
9,
O9RG approved.
10,
AA0HF approves.
DX,
B3 CMB approves.
Vice President
Approves.
and President.
That'd be you.
Approves, I think. Yeah, right behind me. Approves. Sorry about the QRM, folks. Okay, that's it for the old business. We've got some new business here. Let's see, do I have a motion to approve the IVAL 2023 proposal from submitted by Gary, GWS, and K4TER as hosts?
So move.
Second.
Okay, any others comments? So I will open it for comments.
Katie, I don't know if you saw a observation that I had that the cabin Camp 3 is closed until August the 2nd, and I had a phone call yesterday with them, and it's actually now August the 4th. And I was just not to throw in here, but is it possible to consider how is Plan B? Just in case, that's 5 weeks different from when they open to when our schedule is. That's not a lot of wiggle room.
Comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I yield.
So I'd like to basically, since Katie's here, these comments that are being made, I'd like to maybe give her a chance to respond. But I'll give everybody a chance to comment. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Katie.
Well, I know that they're going to have some construction going on. They're removing a playground and replacing some of the sewer lines and everything in that area. When I took a tour of it with the park ranger, he assured me that they would be open in time for us to have our event. As for a Plan B, Kirk, I don't know of any place near here that I could do a Plan B and still come within my budget.
I understand. Hey, just an observation, and sure, I'm sure you're aware, but that 5 weeks is not a lot of wiggle room. They had a lot of weather, or the government isn't exactly known for being on time and under budget.
Yeah, I have an email. After I read your email last night, I did send Ralph another email, and I have not heard back from him yet. He did tell me a couple of weeks ago that I don't have to pay for the park until about 30 days prior to our event date. So even if I paid right now, if it wasn't ready, we would get our money back, but I don't want to have to do anything like that. Right. Because I've got, stuff I've got to buy now in preparation for it. So I'm waiting to hear back from him just to see what the real timeline is. I'm comfortable with a 5-week period for what they're going to be doing at that campsite.
Of course, that's not the entire Prince William Forest Park that's closed. Are there any other areas on that park that
not that we can afford?
Well, understand if they weren't
unless
able to
unless you want me
us.
to go to like $200 per person.
No, but maybe they'd understand if they couldn't accommodate us, that hey, if we can't put you here, we can put you there for the same price.
And that's part of the thing that I want to talk to Ralph about. But the thing is, fall in Virginia is a time where people do like to camp. So the other campgrounds are probably going to be full. Right. I mean, if they keep a reserve for us, that I don't see them really doing that. So I'll talk to Ralph hopefully this coming week. But I'm happy with the campground. I think they'll be able to accommodate us. So.
Okay, Keon just disappeared. Keon.
No, I'm right
here. You are. I'm sorry, you are. Go ahead, Keon.
So 2 things. First, Kirk, I misread your email, and I want to openly apologize to that. So I did not know that you were talking about the actual campground that we were going to be at. I thought you were talking about the other campground, which unfortunately, guys like me who will be coming down, I'm kind of sort of going to be away. Secondly, I will say that the government has been kind of sort of moving a little quickly. I too am a little concerned now that you're mentioning that about the 5 weeks, but I think we're going to be okay. At least I hope we will be. But again, I apologize because I thought you were talking about something completely different. So that's all.
So Plan C, Katie, is we'll crash your place, right?
Yep. I have 5 acres. Bring a tent.
Right. We're covered.
Oh man, I can bring my big tent.
There you go.
Better yet.
You got a canvas 20 man?
Well, I have access to a GP medium.
Oh, nice.
I don't think any of us are young enough to put it up, though.
I have the experience, but not the body.
I'm right there with you. Hey, Katie, do you have a lot of Boy Scouts? We can borrow some Boy Scouts to put this tent up. I mean,
I'm waiting to contact people like the Boy Scouts and the other clubs in the area until I get an approval.
Okay.
We got the Marines right there. Why don't we just get them out there for a training exercise?
Hoorah.
Well,
Well, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Katie's already recruited a group of people for training. It's going to be there, right?
I'm hoping they're going to give a presentation on the OSS stuff.
No, I'm talking about the meal prep.
Yeah, I'm using the high school behind us to do the meal prep. So I think that's going to work out well because it's just the cost of food. We just have to pick it up and take it to the park and then reheat it.
Are there any more good productive comments about the proposal for the eyeball?
I think there's a couple items on there that can be tweaked. But I think the main objective right now, and I think Katie's put a lot of work into it. She'll probably end up doing a lot more and changing things here and there. I think the main thing is let's get this thing approved and let her have something to go on other than I send in a proposal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a motion by KG at WL. Who was the second?
I think I was LBU. Okay.
Let's vote. Third call area.
Third area approves KE3HAY.
Fourth call area.
Whiskey Foxtrot Hotel, fourth area approves.
Fifth call area.
Fifth approves, WA6LBU.
Seventh.
Seventh area approves.
And of course, you're going to be there, right? Eighth call area.
Eighth call area approved, KG8WL.
Ninth.
Wake up, Roger.
What? I'm waiting to say ninth.
I did. Ninth. Niner.
Speak up. WNRG approves. Put a little bass in your voice.
Tenor.
AA0HF approves.
11th. DX.
The DX area approves.
Vice President.
Approves.
And President approves. Carries unanimously.
Okay.
Okay. Second item on new business is motion 03-2023-01, approval of a late night DX net. Do I have a motion?
Motion, WA6LBU.
Second, HAY.
Discussion. The floor is open.
Comments?
Go ahead.
So
Valeria?
the motion, and obviously I support the net, and you folks have seen some correspondence I've had back and forth. But currently, as it stands, as you read the motion is really to give the president and the coordinator control, right?
Yes, sir.
Which I'm certainly okay with, but it's not a motion to approve the concept. It's a motion to let the president and the coordinator make a determination, as long as everybody understands that.
Perfectly okay with it here.
Me too.
You're almost there, Craig. It's a motion to basically allow the club under the president and the coordinator to start a late night net for DX.
Yeah, but okay, so let's, I mean, we're in the discussion stage. Okay, I do support it. I just want some clarification. We are in the discussion stage. And at this point, though, we don't have a coordinator for a late net, or whatever we're going to call it, 7540 DX net, whatever we're going to call it. We don't have a coordinator right now. So, but the motion is not to do this, to allow, agree that the club should, for the board to give the club approval or whoever approval to go off and do this. The motion is actually to give the president the authority to do that, which again, I'm okay with, but that's a little different than originally. And I don't know if that was on your email to me, Dean, or not, or sorry, your voicemail to me or not, but anyway.
No, actually, I want to talk to you about something else.
Oh, okay. So I mean, guys, we folks, and I keep doing that. We have to let, I think, the president and the people that are doing the other things within the club, we have to allow the flexibility for them to do that. Okay. The issue I had with this in the beginning was that, I mean, Dean's a great president. Next president comes in, he says, well, I'm going to cancel nets without the board's approval. So that's the only concept I wanted the board involved with, is they approve the fact that our corporation, 3905 Century Club, incorporated, the board of directors, as the board of this corporation, agrees with it.
Correct.
Now,
so that the
Right.
president and the coordinator can proceed with the implementation.
Question.
Couple comments.
Oh, Craig, did I answer your question, Craig?
Not really, Dean, but I've been hogging the floor here.
Okay, so let me say it differently. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait, Dean. Sorry. Before you start, the motion does not say that the president and the coordinator is going to do this. The motion says basically the president and whoever the coordinator is, we don't have a coordinator for this net because it's not established yet, will basically have the authority to go off and do that, which means in the future, you can cancel a net if you want without coming back to the board. You won't. And maybe I'm making too much of this, but that was my concern with the board approving the concept. Yep, do another net. And then the board gets out of it. We do not go down the road we did with the 20-meter net because that was horrific. Anyway, that's my comment. Sorry, guys.
Go ahead, Ralph. You got a comment?
Okay, a couple of comments. One is we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that the 3905 Century Club is basically a worked all states net. It's one of the reasons I don't like putting the DX in the title for the naming the net. My other comment, I understand that everybody wants to work more DX, But I really think we need to take a hard look at all of our nets and how we currently treat DX on the early nets, on the nets that we have. DX on the 40-meter early net is treated as a second-class citizen. If a newbie checks in, you can work the newbie first and get an extra call. You don't get that with the work in the DX station, even if it's the DX station's first time checking in. So, what does that tell the DX station? If he sees a stateside guy check in for the first time, he checks in for the first time, and the stateside operator gets treated better than he does. I think we need to think about that. And with that, I'll pass it to him.
So Ralph, in response to that, I will pass that on to the 40net early net coordinator, because that has not necessarily been how it's being done on the late net. Because quite often I see the NCSs giving the new DX station a second call, just like any other new station. I'm not saying it's happened 100% of the time, but I've seen it happen, okay? But we can certainly change that, okay? I've got no problem with it. Any more comments?
Keon had a comment.
Hey, Keon. Go ahead, Keon.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my comment. It's for a phone call, not here.
Yeah, I apologize as well. I just okay. So I think what we're really talking about here is the motion is so that we can proceed with this, and the board not get tied up in what I call the minutia of things. I will certainly pass it along, and if we certainly don't want the word DX in the net name. So Mac is the author of the original proposal, but I'll talk to him. And like I said, the first thing is to get a net coordinator and so that we can at least get it started. So, any other comments?
The only other thing, can I reiterate on something Craig had said?
Sure.
The board doesn't need to be involved in the minutiae of net times and net frequencies and what have you. They just have to.
That is correct. Just like any other net.
Right.
It's basically the net coordinator's responsibility to establish times and frequencies and all that. So.
Fine, done.
Any more comments?
Sorry, one last comment. Even getting down to the naming convention, and I would certainly like to see it 40 late and 75 late like we've done in 160. But if it happens to be 40 DX or whatever, I don't even know the board needs to approve that. I was just, like I said, saying the board needs to approve the concept of starting a new net. If I want to go off and I put this in one of my emails and then do an FT8, you know what? I'm going to start an FT8 net, 3905 Century Club. Should the board not approve?
Yes. Let me make one other comment that you're going with. If the 20-meter coordinator wanted to close the 20-meter net, his avenue to close it is to come back to the board. That's not a decision that he gets to make. It's a decision that the board of directors get to make, whether or not it gets closed. And we're doing the same thing on this new late net or whatever it is. The board has given us permission so that we can do it.
Yeah, but you're not asking. Well, Dean, I can bring up the wording. The wording in the motion is different than you and I had discussed on the Okay, and that's part of what's perturbing me here. Okay, the wording in the motion, okay, is basically that you will determine, the board will give you authorization to go off and make all these decisions.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So you're not asking the board to approve the concept of a late 40 meter net, or late DX 40 meter net, and late 75 meter DX net. You're asking the board to give you approval to make all those decisions. That's what the motion currently reads. So as long as we all know what we're voting on. Anyway, done.
HAY.
Go ahead, Keon.
Okay, so I get what we're voting on. To make it very clear, are you also saying that, let's say, for instance, the next president comes in and wants to close the net? This is something that has to come back before the board.
Absolutely. I think anytime we close the net, it's the board's decision whether or not to close the net, not the net coordinator. The net coordinator gets to decide on the operation of the net, you know, and we outlined this in the NCS guide and the procedural guide and all that. And we've delegated responsibility over the years to the net coordinator to establish frequencies and times. And I'm not sure if you were around in 2013, but the president was very adamant that he wasn't going to get pushed into the corner of figuring out what the frequency was going to be on the 40 meter early net. I remember that.
We are all agreeing. I'm just saying that's not what the motion reads.
Do we need to table this, get it rewritten, and bring it back to the next meeting?
No, sorry.
Yeah, before we do that, my question, Craig, is this. Okay, do you have the motion in front of you?
I'm just bringing it up now. I was reading it earlier, so.
Okay, so what would need to be said? Okay, what would need to be said in order for you to feel comfortable that the president, next person, whoever that may be, cannot come in and just close the net without board approval? Like, what do you need said in order for you to be 100% okay with that? Because it's clear, just you're not, and I understand why. I just want to make sure that we know from you what is needed for you to be 100% clear with that. Because I think everybody would like to be 100% clear that the next president, whoever that might be, just can't come and, you know, oh, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yep. Yeah, no, I thought the motion was going to be worded along the lines of the 39.5 Central Florida Board of Directors approves the concept or approves a new net. That's it, period.
So it says, this motion will permit the president and net coordinator to establish these new nets.
Establish these new nets.
Right. That's what the motion says.
So the motion doesn't say we are going to approve a 40 meter late net or whatever it's called, a 75 meter late net. It says the president and coordinator are going to be authorized to establish these these nets. Right. So however many nets you want to approve, that's good.
Comment. Dean, could I offer an amendment to clarify that those are sideband nets?
Sure.
I think it's everybody's understanding, but I think it should be in writing. And I move that we add that to the motion.
Okay, hold on. I'm writing, Ralph.
Yeah, guys, maybe I had a bad week. Actually, I did, but that's besides the point. So, but if we start being specific like that, that means that we can't do an extra late CW net. Or
I think we already have a net coordinator for that net, don't we?
Okay, well, let's go with PSK. We can't have a 40 meter PSK net and a 40 meter late PSK net. So I mean,
so we have it all.
I'm okay. You know what? I'm okay. The intent is good. I just want everybody to understand what we're voting on. We're not voting on the concept of adding 2 nets. We're voting on the concept of giving the president to add nets as he wishes. And I'm certainly okay with that.
Okay, so I have a motion to amend the motion to include only sideband nets. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. KE3HAY.
Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote on the amendment.
Can we have a discussion on the motion on the amendment?
Oh, sure. Let's have a discussion. Let's have more discussion.
I haven't been around as long as some people, but I've been around a bit, and on the board, and I'm guilty of it as well. Making motions and getting them passed where we don't truly understand all of the ramifications that can follow that motion. So if we restrict it to sideband nets, or if we don't restrict it to sideband nets, can we have an FT8 net created, or what can we do? An FT4 net? Can we have a net on 30 and 60? You know, what can you do? So I don't truly know what the answer is, but I would hate to rush into something and then have to be saddled with the consequences of it. WF4H, over.
Comment.
Hey, go ahead, Keon.
So here's the reason why I think we should vote on it. If we stick with a sideband net for the moment, and Dwight has said before, it's going to stick for a year. If we do that, at least we know that we're dealing with something specific. If the sideband works and we need to change something, then we change it later. But for at least this first year, we're dealing with a single sideband net on a 40 late net, whatever we call it, DX or worked all states, whatever we decide to call it at that point. It gives some boundaries and clarity. And I think ultimately that is what Craig is looking for. And I agree with that. And if that will make him feel better about that, then yes, I would like to specify that for the moment. And then a year from now, maybe we do expand it to something else. But at least this gives some clear boundaries and some clear parameters on what we're doing with this particular net and this particular motion.
Comment. One point of clarity. If we do this, we don't have to wait a year to do additional ones. It's just going to take another motion to come in front of the board.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
All right. Now that
okay, my comment was exactly what Dwight was saying. So drop my comment.
If this wouldn't delay it, can we modify the motion so that the board establishes these nets, 40 and 75 late nets, with the president and net coordinator to go about business as usual? That's what they do, is just manage the nets. That accomplishes, I think, Craig's goal, and it gets the nets going.
That's all I was looking for, Kirk.
Yeah. Eric had a comment.
You're muted.
Yep, I was muted. Anyway, and if we go back to Mac's original proposal, it was 40 meters single sideband and 75 meters single sideband. So that's what the spirit of the original proposal too. I don't think there's any issue sticking to sideband for this to get started.
Yeah, and I have no intent of doing any more net startups over the next year as well.
I know you don't, Dean, and maybe I should have brought this up. We all agree this is a good thing. We all agree to do it. I don't know we need to put more parameters around doing it. All I'm saying is that's not the way the motion is worded. So the motion is worded so that the president can make a decision. I'm okay with that. Dean, if you vote on this motion, I think it will pass.
Well,
Okay, so where we're at right now is we have a motion that got brought to the board. We've had some discussion. We have an amendment by KG8WL that these be restricted to sideband only nets, and a second by KE3HAY. And the next order of business is to vote on the amendment. Okay, that's what we're voting on. We're voting on the amendment to add SSB, just the word SSB to the motion. Third call area. Oh,
Okay, it's
wait a minute.
right.
Hold on.
Is SSB already in the motion that Eric just read?
Did what?
The motion that Eric just read, didn't it specify single sideband already?
It does not.
Okay.
So, roll call vote. Third call area.
KE3HAY approves.
Fourth call area.
Whiskey Foxtrot Hotel approves.
Fifth call area.
Fifth approves, WA6LBU.
Seventh approves. Or seventh.
WV7ASC approves.
Sorry, Ron. Eighth call area. Eight. Wake up. Eight. Oh,
KG8WL approved.
I'm sorry. Ninth call area. Wake up. Approved. Right?
49 RG abstains. Way too much crap going on.
10th call area.
AA0HF approves.
11th.
11th area, nay.
Vice President.
Approves.
And President, nay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 3. Motion carries. And unless there's any more discussion, motion to approve or roll call vote to approve the amended motion for the DXNet. Any more comments?
And discussion, delay us if we insert the 3905 Century Club Board of Directors establishes the 20 or establishes the 40 and 75 late nets, and then the president net coordinator do what they do with all the other nets.
I think that the essence of how we're going to ramp this thing up has already been established in the original proposal by the member at large, and we're not going to do a lot of we have no plans to do any exceptions of running this nets any different than we run any other nets. Okay.
Wouldn't hurt a thing then, huh?
I mean, we're not going to run lists. We're not going to do, we're going to run these like regular nets, except they're going to be later at the night. And if we want to call them late nets, I have no problem with calling them late nets. I'll talk to Mac. Okay. So I just think that yeah, anyway, any more comments before we vote on the motion to approve the amended DXNet, what we're calling the DXNet?
I'd like you to read the motion in its entirety.
You betcha. And Dean, why don't you put it up on the screen? I was just going to go looking for it.
Oh, can I get it on this screen? Hold on a second.
Because even the amendment now is drawing the board into the minutia and of managing this, because now the board is deciding it can only be sideband. That wasn't the and that wasn't the intent of where I was going in the beginning. I was just going with the fact that what we're approving is not the concept to run new nets. It's the concept of giving the president authorization to run new nets, which I'm okay with. Just want us all to know what we're voting on.
Page
13.
Gene, thank you. Oh, went too far. Went too far. My mouse is taking over.
This is starting to remind me of some of our board meetings, Roger.
That's right. That's why I abstained.
Those damn Canucks.
Yep.
Hey, Clay, have fun.
You're not a Canuck, you're a Newfie.
Newfoundlander, born and bred in a beam until I die.
There you go.
Okay, so here is the motion before you, and the only thing that I think would be added to it would be, it says the 3095 Century Club may establish additional nets on 40 and 75 will be changed to say the 3095 Century Club may establish additional SSB nets on 40 and 75.
Okay, so can you go down to the hereby and can you zoom in a little bit so we can see it? This motion will permit presidents and net controller to establish these new nets.
Comment.
Go ahead, Keon.
So, okay, I'm looking at this. I'm assuming that the hereby and establish these new nets are strictly in reference to the 40 and 75 meter. Now we're calling them single sideband nets. Is there something else that could be talking about? In other words, what I'm saying is this: the hereby is talking about what's already set up in the motion. Well, the motion is not talking about anything else other than the 40 meter and the 75 meter single sideband. As I'm seeing it, is there something missing?
It could be the 40 meter CW net. It could be the 40 meter PSK net. It could be the 40 meter reading net. But I think, so we're going to change that, and we're just going to preface it by saying SSB net, the SSB, additional SSB nets on 40 and 75. That limits it to just those two nets.
Right. So
it doesn't fold over to 20. It doesn't fold over to 160.
And that's exactly what I thought. And I just want to make sure that what we're seeing, again, to make sure that Craig is comfortable, because I see what he's saying. But based on what I'm seeing right here, unless there's something else that I'm missing, the hereby is only talking about the 40 meter and the 75 meter. Now that we've amended it, single sideband nets. And that's correct, right?
Correct.
And it means that we're giving you, President, and the coordinators permission. And you stated that in the event someone later decides to change it, it has to come back to the board.
Yes, and I said that's true for any net.
Yes.
Then the third area is absolutely happy with this. It's fine for us.
Can I just I hate to go back and reiterate. Ralph, does this satisfy your motion or your amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Comment. Craig, I think the motion as I see it there does say the 3095 Century Club, and I just lost it.
I killed it. You want to
put it back up, Dean? We're not. Yeah, we're not quite there.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter, Dean. Let's vote on it. It's going to pass.
Oh, Craig, as I see it here, it does say the 3095 Century Club may establish additional nets, and they're specific. I think it's the club's doing it, and the board is responsible for the operation of the club. I think we're good.
Yeah. So I'm not a lawyer, guys. 3095 Century Club may establish different nets on 40 and 75 meters for the purpose of tracking additional DS, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that means prior to the SSB amendment, that means that we could establish nets for FT8 and FT4 and all this stuff, and then down below, okay, it says whereas a proposal was given to the board to establish additional nets on 40 and 75, Okay.
These
But-
additional nets.
These additional nets, yeah, but up top, it doesn't say what these are. It just says additional nets on 40 and
Okay,
75.
okay.
And then below
I-
that, it says this promotion permits, this motion permits the president.
I'm going to modify this motion that where it says nets here and nets here, it will say additional SSB nets. 2 places.
Well, that would solve this issue.
Well, that's what we voted on for the modification.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the amendment was.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, motion to approve the amended motion. Third call area.
KE3HOI approves.
Fourth,
WF4H approves.
fifth,
Approves. WA6LBU.
seventh,
WB7AFC approves.
eighth,
AG8WL approved.
ninth,
W9ROG reluctantly approves.
10th,
AA0HF approves.
DX,
The X area approves. I still think it could have been simpler, but anyway. I'm going to trade you my coffee for beer in a second, guys.
Vice President.
Vice President approves.
President approves. Motion carries. Okay. Finally, under new business, the motion to approve the budget for the 2023-2024 budget submitted by K9 GWS.
Second, HOI.
I need a motion to approve.
Oh, I'm
A
sorry.
motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, LBU.
There we go.
Any comments? Any discussion? Other than I still say that Gary's doing a wonderful job. I mean, having this information on a timely basis is wonderful. And I didn't even have to ask for it. Okay. Let's see. So roll call vote to approve the budget for the 2023-2024 year. Third call area.
KE3HOI approves.
Fourth,
WF4H approves.
fifth,
Approve. LBU.
seventh,
WB7AFC approves.
eighth,
AG8WL approved.
ninth,
W9ROG approves.
10th,
AA0HF approves.
11th.
He's out for a beer.
Oh, man. Okay. Vice President?
Approves.
President approves. Let's see.
11's
So
back.
Craig, do you approve or disapprove the motion?
I had a bio break, but yes, I approve of the motion.
I love it. I love it. Okay. What's that?
Nothing.
So, I do have a couple of items, but the real item on the agenda is status regarding. I need another one too. The special election for the first area director, and I'll tell you where we're at. We acted immediately upon Fred's resignation. We got the election process underway, and we are in a balloting process right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kurt, but right now we're in balloting. That balloting ends on Friday, this coming Friday, and we will have a special quickie board meeting on Saturday to approve the first call area. And I need some guidance as to whether or when it takes place because of the timing, because it's after the 15th of the month. So does his position take place 1 April or 1 May? And I am clearly at a loss as to what the effective date. So when we come to the meeting next week, I would appreciate any of you looking at the bylaws and figuring that one out, because it's really muddled.
It's in there.
What's that?
It's in there.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I need 7 people Saturday night to approve it. I need a simple majority of the board of directors. I feel actually it's not. Yeah, I need seven. Right. To approve it, and it's a week from tonight. So if you don't know, Tom Bates, A1
NZ.
DP, right. Step forward, and Tom's been around for a long time. I think he'll be a good director. So, and he's the only candidate that we have, and he just came out of the woodwork. So I think he'll be a good addition to the board. So, any other open? Huh?
Yes? Oh, sorry. I was going to say I'm traveling that day. Our proxy vote right now. I'll look it up. I'll look up what the process is so I can give you my proxy.
Okay. Are there any other open discussion items or items that people, questions, whatever it is that any of you would like to ask the board or ask me or anybody else?
Nope.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion. That'll be 7 ASC.
ASC. We are now approved. Thank you, everybody.